Okay, let's go.
Welcome to Drum and Drummer, a podcast focused on drums, drumming and drummers. I'm George Pickering and that's Ben Winty, and we are both professional drummers in this business we call music. So stick around and join us as we pass the time whilst trying to stay in time.
You turned around and went, George, and then said, you appear to be in the bath, which just killed me.
Welcome, drummer.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Well, really, yeah. You know, this is technically going to be sort of a part 2 to our weekend away at the UK drum show. UK drum show.
Good. And I was adamant not to do a two-parter, but I was like, cram it all in. But it turns out there was a lot to cram in.
And I told you we'd do 15 minutes at the Swan.
Well, I could do 10 minutes on sleeping in a bath.
Yeah. Well, we left you on a cliffhanger. George left you neatly poised.
I saw a big bin.
A cliff.
Yeah. So we saw a big bin, and then we get back to the hotel. I can't remember if it stunk as shit this time. It might have done. But it
was just whiffs now and then.
Yeah.
It was just occasionally, stinks of shit.
Yeah.
And then fine.
There was a doorman on the door of the hotel.
Yeah, but that's why I think the hotel reception was very pleasantly smelly. Maybe over smelly, because they're like, we're right by the Mersey.
Yeah.
And it kicks up a bit of pong.
It certainly does.
Every 20.
Yeah.
So we need to keep this reception fresh.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So
a lot of odd haircuts on reception, wasn't it?
Oh god, I didn't know whether to mention it.
Yeah.
But we saw the worst. We're not one to talk. But how would you describe this haircut?
Sort of like a very thick rug came down, and then the front was like it had been stitched in, kind of like the edge of the rug with like sort of tassels almost. Like
but it was the flick
like an
up.
Old curtain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like an old, very thick curtain.
Very thick.
But the end, interesting.
Yeah.
Lovely lad though. Nailed the check-in.
Yeah?
It was very smooth.
Yeah.
Checking in, bang, 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 there's your key, off you go.
Yeah. Key didn't work.
The keys worked. It was an absolute nightmare trying to get in the room.
Yeah. So anyway, we get back to the hotel, I don't know, 1 in the morning?
Probably.
And then, but obviously, you got to put on the telly, see what gold you get. And I swear, every time I've gone to a hotel, it's always Top of the Pops from the 70s on the telly. But I don't know if that's because I'm never watching telly at the wee hours of the morning. Well, that's the
only time you're ever watching terrestrial TV.
Yeah.
At that time of night.
Yeah, it is. But anyway, I'd say 1:30. Turn the lights off, turn the TV off, went to sleep. How much of the night do you want me to delve into? Because my night was very different to your night.
Yeah,
I
guess I could go from my point of view.
Let's do your point of view, and then we'll do mine.
So, lights off. I had my iPad on. Good free Wi-Fi in the hotel, actually. Good free
Wi-Fi. Was good,
actually. Popped a bit of Rick and Morty on the Netflix. Popped one earbud in, and off I went to the land of Nod.
Yeah.
Had a few gin, obviously. So, and at my age, at some point, I'm going to go for a wee in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
I think it was about 6-ish maybe. Yeah. Sort of woke up, was like, I'll go for a piss.
Yep.
Sort of with my eyes half shut.
Yeah.
There's the bathroom. Again, I had to be very, I wanted to make sure I didn't leave the hotel room instead.
Yeah, that's happened.
And so I was adamant as well that I remembered what the hotel number, the room was. 308. 308. If I end up pissing in a plant in my pants in the middle of the night, I know what room. Anyway, so I went into the bathroom. So I just turned the light on. I went in. Wasn't really taking note what was going on, but the toilet was the bath was in front of me, but the toilet was to the left. Yeah. So I just sort of turn the light on. I go in. I just turn left immediately towards the toilet. And then I just hear, And I sort of like, what? And I look. And there's Georgie just in the bath. Georgie's in the bath. And I go, I need a piss. And he went, go for it, mate. So I just pulled my kecks down and sat down and did a wee.
Yeah. I should say I wasn't having a bath. It wasn't water. I was sleeping there. So I'll explain why I was sleeping in the bath. So both shut our eyes, 1:30 or something. And at about 4, I mean, you know, we're an honest podcast. I woke up thinking you were dying because I heard like a slurping noise. It was literally like that. And I was like, oh, he's just having a drink. You know, we'd had a lot of beers.
From a trough. Oh, he's just...
Yeah. I was like, because you were facing like the other way. I was like, oh, well, he's got a drink on his like bedside table. So he's just having a drink. And then it sort of carried on, but then it was like different, just sort of like, just noises, you know, it wasn't snoring, but it was like, it was just like.
It was respiratory problems.
It wasn't say it, but yeah, it was sleep apnea. And so then I was genuinely laying there because it was 4 when it started, and I was like, fuck, is he all right? Like, I'm not being dramatic. I thought you were having like a fit or something. I was like, oh God, I'm going to have to do CPR or something.
Well, you're trained.
I am trained. So, you know, you'd have been all right. And then you started snoring. And then I was like, oh no, he started snoring. And the thing is, you know, we're mates. We've done a podcast for 2 years. We go back longer than that. But I didn't want to just push you. Do you know what I mean? Because when I used to like share a room with my brother,
as well, isn't it? All muscle.
Huh? Yeah, this is it.
Come at me, bro. Come at me, bro.
And you were just in your boxers, laying on top.
Try
of
and
the
move me,
duvet.
bro.
Yeah. But when I was a kid and used to share a room with my brother, if he'd snore, I'd just push him, and then he'd stop. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But I was like, I don't want to do that. So I was like, right, let's find ways around it. So I was like, I put my earbuds in and just listened, because I go to sleep with white noise, and I just had it on my phone. But I was like, what if I put it in my ear, like earbuds, and then just listen to that? But I could still hear it. And the thing with snoring is you kind of think it's done, and then it will start up again. And you're like, oh, God.
And starts back louder.
Yeah, yeah. And by the way, there was no pre-warning of this. Like, I don't know how aware you are of your snoring.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So after about, I mean, it seems mad that I left it half an hour, but I was genuinely like, well, maybe I can just sleep through it. And I was like, I know I can't. So I was like, do I just sleep in the bath? And then I got up and I took my duvet and pillow. I think I'd already gone for a piss and shut the door and been like, oh, it is quieter in the bath, you know. So I took my duvet and pillow. I was like, let's do it. Let's, you know, because I know I'm not going to sleep in the room. Just put my duvet down on the in the bathtub and sort of wrap myself in it, and then pillow down. And you have to be careful not to like have any of your body touching the bath, because it'll be cold, you know. So you sort of cocoon yourself, sort of like a sleeping bag. Put on my white noise, and I was out like a light. Oh, mama, brilliant sleep. And then yeah, but I sort of, as I went to sleep, I was like, he'll probably come in for a piss at some point. And then, yeah, the light comes on, and I was like, oh, here we go. And I woke up, and I saw you there. And I was like, I have to make it obvious that I'm here. So, yeah, she went, And yeah, it was so funny. You turned around and went, George, and then said, you appear to be in the bath, which just killed me. And I was like, that's amazing. And you were like, I'm really sorry, I need to do a piss. I was like, it's okay. And then, yeah, then I woke up a few hours later, took my duvet out of the bath, and then had a shower, and then got ready for the day. But even as it was happening, it was one of those things I was like, this is quite funny, sleeping in a bath in Liverpool before the UK drum show. So our morning, got up, got showered, got dressed. It's like,
yeah.
Let's go.
The show started at 10, but we didn't want to be on time. We wanted to be fashionably late.
Yeah.
You know, let the buzz kick
about
up a bit.
us. Yeah.
So we planned for a little bit of brekkie.
Yep.
We'd planned to go to Bill's.
Yeah, we had planned to go to Bill's.
We both heard of Bill's. I've been to a Bill's in Cambridge.
Yep.
And we were like, go there. Couldn't find it.
Nope.
And it was like, do you know what? It doesn't exist anymore in here.
No.
It's now something else.
It is.
Plan B was the Cozy Club.
Yeah, Cozy Club.
Went in there. Had a lovely breakfast.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's one of them places where they've purposely not finished the ceiling.
Yeah, to make it rustic.
All the chairs are different, and lots of painting of weird old people from the past on the walls. Yeah. That sort of thing, velvet wallpaper. You get what I mean. It's quirky, yeah.
Big time.
had a lovely breakfast.
Yep.
And then
I felt rough. I was trying. I mean,
I didn't know this at the time.
No,
you were hiding it quite well.
Well, I'm glad you said that because basically, I never want to be a bother if I feel like ill or whatever. So I was like, just get through it. But I felt so ill. Like I think it was a mix of I was dehydrated because it turns out you sweat a lot if you wrap yourself in a hotel duvet because those things
in a
are
bath.
thick. In a bath. I slept in a bath. That'll add to it. We hadn't got much sleep. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I ain't got much sleep, but you hadn't got much sleep. But because we got in at 1, and we've been drinking. So I was just walking around, and you were like, let's go to the Lego store. I was like, I feel so ill. I
said because I think you posted something on Instagram on the Friday on the way up.
Yeah.
You said, "Oh, Archie's commented. Archie Mac, shout out Archie Mac. New single, Remote Control out now." And he said, "Make sure you take Ben to the Lego shop." And before then, it hadn't even crossed my mind.
No.
And then, actually, where we were, it was like, oh, where this Bills was meant to be in the coast. It's actually like the main sort of shopping centre bit. You know, quite a modern sort of West Key style thing. And I had a look when we were in the coast. Lego shop is literally around the corner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got to go in there. And I said, "Oh, should we go to the Lego store?" Not knowing how rough you were feeling, but I've never seen someone less enthusiastic about a little detour. Your words were like, "Oh, okay," but your face was saying, "You fucking kidding me?"
Yeah.
You can fuck off if you think I'm coming to the Lego store with you. You absolute prick.
Yeah. And I was aware that all I really needed was 20 minutes, just 20 minutes sleep and a pint of water and I'd be okay. But I think it was the thought of like, oh, I know that we haven't even started our day.
He could be here for hours.
Well, not just that, but it's like we have to go to UK Drum Show and we had big plans to network with people. I think that added to it. So I was like, oh, God. But but then, yeah, Lego store, you bought some Lego.
Yep.
We cut that out.
So yeah, then we we had the plan as well because we had to check out the hotel. So we back to the hotel.
Yeah.
Pack up the rest of our belongings. Take them to the car, which was very closely proximity.
Yeah.
In close proximity. Good planning. Drop that off. But then there was the tricky thing of, do we take a coat? But I don't want a rucksack because we've got a Drum and Drummer t-shirts on and I don't want a rucksack covering it up.
No.
I want people to see who I am.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
As if they didn't already know, yeah.
Absolutely. So it was like, let's take the Lego bag, put what we need in there.
Yeah.
I'll carry it around.
Yeah.
Lovely
very
job.
Kind, yeah.
And then we went to the drum show.
Which will be in part 3 next week.
First off, no queue.
Yeah, that was funny because
they had metal barriers outside, indicating some sort of queue system.
Yeah,
didn't need it. I don't know. Maybe they needed it at 10 a.m. Not sure. But we got there at like 11 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't feel like anyone was. I mean, why would you? I'm not slagging it off, and let's try not to slag off the UK Drum Show on our podcast. But I am at this first bit. Who wants to be in? I mean, it's not like getting a seat for something. Do you know what I mean? Or like, oh, I've got to get to the front of this gig. You know what I mean, so I don't know how needed it was, but maybe it was. Maybe at 9:30 it was.
Maybe
Ramo.
Maybe
but
there's
I
a
didn't
requirement. Maybe they have to legally.
Yeah, maybe it's that.
Have some sort of.
Maybe it is that
preparation for a swarm.
Yeah.
What's the plural for a big group of drummers? Like a school, like a like a murder, a gaggle.
Yeah.
Probably just a bunch.
Yeah. Like bananas. So then we get in, and if you've never been to the UK Drum Show before, listeners, it's in Has it always been there in Liverpool?
I don't know.
Everyone kept talking about, the London drum show. That used to be the one. But I don't know if that was the same thing, but now they've moved it to Liverpool.
I imagine they move it round, but then they'll sign a deal with the venue for X number of years.
Yeah.
It's like the tennis ATP World Tour Finals. It was at the O2 for 8 years. Now it's somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I imagine they'll sign up for a year. So maybe in recent years it's been in Liverpool, but before that it was in London.
Yeah.
And then they're probably like, the North are always moaning, oh, why is everything in London? Well, it's big, isn't it? So, and it's densely populated.
Very dense.
So
Very
sure,
dense.
we'll come up north.
Yeah. So you go in and...
Straight off the bat, loud.
It's very loud. And I think we got there on the hour, didn't we? So this was something we learned, was that there's a lot of drum kits set up and everyone's playing on them. But you can only play 15 minutes at the start of the hour. And I think I was like, this is going to be a loud day. But then I'll just go straight to it. At 15 minutes past the hour, someone with a horn goes round. And we were like, what the fuck's that? Because that was 15
he just let off his air horn.
Yeah.
So when you first walked in, there was like an entrance kind of foyer. There was a little cafe, toilets. There was a cloakroom. And there was a few little sort of stalls and stuff. But then you got the escalator down to the main exhibition hall. Yeah. So we were going down there, and it was like, fucking hell, just so many drum kits being played. Yeah. Then we had a couple of stalls. There was a hard case stall. There was another one with drumsticks and stuff. And he sort of turned right into the main sort of thing. Now, the first thing I saw was a big Zildjian sign. And I was like, there's the Zildjian stuff. And then I recognised there was like a till point, and there was other stuff as well. And I recognised the Graham Russell crew. So I saw my mate Rob. So I was like, went and said hello to him, had a bit of a chat. And then what he told me was quite interesting. I can't remember exactly, but basically, this is what maybe I thought was slightly different in my head. Was so obviously you had a lot of stalls there that were exhibitors from that particular brand. Example, Sonar had a stall with all the Sonar branding, Sonar kits, blah blah blah. People with Sonar t-shirts on. You had the same for Minor, you had the same for BDC. And you had a lot of ones for sort of more independent ones and more bespoke ones. But Zildjian didn't have a stall. No. But they had there were big rack of Zildjian symbols, of Zildjian branding and all that. And Graham Russell were there essentially going, here's the Zildjian shit, and we're selling it. And I think Rob said that Graham Russell bought all that stock on behalf of Zildjian to then take it to the drum show off the Zildjian stuff, sell it, they keep the money, anything they don't sell, they get to take back to the shop. Right. Got you. And there was also, that was very similar for Mapex, because there was another big stall that was, we found out by a company called Drummerson, who were a shop in Cardiff. They had loads of Mapex stuff, so they were sort of representing Mapex and sort of saying. So that was quite interesting. Yeah, it was. Some of the big hitters didn't have stalls, but their gear was being represented by a retailer. Yeah, if that makes sense. But anyway, so it was loud. There was so many people playing drums. Yeah, and we bumped into Mel Stewart. Yeah, that was the first person we spoke to. Yeah, so we bumped into Mel. Mel's been on the podcast. Go back and listen. At the time, Mel was working for BDC. He was there with a different company. And we said to him, like, it's loud, isn't it? Yeah. And then that's when he explained to us the 15-minute rule. Then eventually later we saw a sign that explained it. But for the first 15 minutes on the hour, you can play the kits loud. And then the other 45 minutes, you can't. Which is good. It is good. But when that guy set the air horn off at 11:15, I was, what the fuck is going on?
Do we have to leave? We've just got it. 15 minutes.
Is there a fire?
Yeah. Why is no one else alarmed by this? So we saw Mel. But I think the first thing was just like, well, let's just see what it is. Let's just walk around the whole thing. I was very conscious, much like the way my mum used to do the big shop. You got to go down every aisle. Even if you don't need anything, you've got to go down every aisle. So we went down every bit just to see. And then we got to the British Drum Company bit. And that's where we were like, oh. Yeah. And that's where you especially were like, ooh, you know.
Yeah.
I'll let you take the reins from here.
Well, yeah, so definitely wanted to go and see the BDC stuff. They had quite a big space. They had several kits sort of set up that they were showing off. And then they had a few sort of racks beautifully with pretty much, I think, like a 12-inch rack tom, but of every finish that they do in this display sort of shelving. And I was like, the blue one, that's the one I want. Yeah. But they also had their new paisley finish. They had a whole kit set up with the black paisley finish, and they had a blue one in the rack. So I was chatting to a shout out to Jack from BDC. Yep. I was having a chat to him. We sort of explained who we were and that we'd spoken to a lot of drummers on the pod about who are BDC players and that we wanted to come and see the kits and things like that. And as you know, Georgie boy, I've had on my shopping list a BDC snare drum for quite a while. Yeah. That's been on my little, I'd love one of them. So, Jack was running through the kits and the finishes and all that sort of stuff. And I said, so they had another rack with all their snare drums in. I was like, can we see the snare drums? He was like, yeah, of course. And I was like, the Aviator, the aluminium, I was like, that's the one I want. Yep. And he went, well, they're on sale today only. And I was like, oh, God. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So he let me got it out. I had a look. I was like, oh, it's nice. He was like, running through them all, but he was like, do you think you'd go 5.5 or 6? And I was like, I think I'll go for the 6.5, bit more body. And then he got the price list, and he was like, it was basically 200 quid off. Yeah. Which is, I mean, they're not cheap, but that's quite a sizable chunk of money off. And I was like, oh, that's definitely something I had to think about. And he said, just to let you know, because I said, is this offer only for this weekend? And he said, yeah. And he said, if you do want to get one, he says, no pressure, but we've only got one of each. Yeah. I was like, fucking hell, you crafty bastards. Yeah. And it's like, because I don't want to risk someone else buying it. Yeah. Will I regret it? And I was like, well, okay, I'll just have a little think. Went away. And he was good. I'll just say, he was like, have a quick walk round, and then have a quick, he was very like getting it in there. This point, you'd wandered off. We'll talk about what you were up to at that point. But then I was like, do you know what? Fuck it. It's a decent discount. I've wanted it for quite a while. Yeah. So I went back, Jack, let's do it, mate. So I bought a BDC Aviator 40 by 6.5 snare drum. I haven't got it yet because they said they'll ship it to me. Yeah. But we got a photo. They put a little sold sign next to it. Yeah. I got a picture of that. Yeah. Yeah, we did. What were you up to while I was spending all my money? Well, I felt ill, and I was like, just standing in one place made me feel awful. But then I saw someone that I wanted to speak to. So obviously this is a great place to network. And we went up there, as the podcast. And we'll get to this in a bit, but the idea was, go on. All right, I'm going to sum up the capacity we were there. Okay. Because my mate Paulie B, shout out Paulie B, texted me and said, I see you at the drum show. Yeah. Are you there with the podcast? Yeah. Or just attending? Mm. And I put, just attending, but representing. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Yeah. We weren't doing any master classes or anything. Definitely not. No live podcast. No. We wanted something, we thought it would be good to talk about. I think if we're doing a podcast about drums, we should probably go to one of these things. Not to say we'll go every year, but wanted to go and experience it. Good to talk about, good to experience. Yeah. And while we're there, have a chat to some people, explain who we are. Yeah. And give out some cards and maybe, broaden the listenership a little bit. Exactly. More. So just to say, if you are listening to this because you picked up a card or you saw us at the drum show, welcome. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you for having us. Yeah. Thanks for accepting the card. That was forced into your hand. Yeah. Yeah. Some of them didn't have a chance, but we'll get to that. Someone that I've been, watching recently is Joe Clegg. Not creepy. Not a creepy way. Oh, what? No. Not through a window. No. Don't know where he lives.
But he's Ableton master. You know, he knows how to run playback. He's Ellie Goulding's drummer. Did all the playback for Bastille. It seemed like there was a lot of like, you know, when I was trying to learn how to run playback, his name kept cropping up. And the more I've learned, the more I've gone like, oh, okay, like he's someone that would be great for the podcast. And he said he was doing like a masterclass on the Sunday at the show. And I was like, oh, damn it. We're only there on Saturday. Then I saw he put a thing on his Instagram being like, hey, I'm at the show today. Come down, come and have a chat. I was like, brilliant. So he was like close to the BDC bit. And I saw him and I was like, oh, shit, it's Joe. So I went up to him and, yeah, just sort of, I felt like I was very excited. So just said a lot of stuff at him. I said, I got into Ableton. I bought your course. It's great. You know, and then we just started chatting about Ableton and just all these different things. And I actually mentioned the podcast, and he said he'd heard of it, which was very nice to hear, because he saw that Woody had been on it and stuff. You know, and I asked, you know, do you want to be on it? He's like, yeah, cool. So got his info and stuff, and I was like, that was, you know, and I actually, Ben and I were saying, at what point will we know we're done at the show? And I was like, well, yeah. He's up for being on the pod, so that's, you know, I feel like that's pretty cool. Like that's, you know, someone that I think would be a great chat.
That when you go to these things, or you go on holiday, you go to the theme, you go to, you know, you go to places that you can unnecessarily put pressure on yourself to be there like the whole day, or to eke out the enjoyment. But even if the enjoyment fades, you're like, no, we must have fun. We must be here, otherwise it's a waste. And I don't like having that attitude. I like being. We actually said, if we get to a point and we're done, we'll just go. We won't force staying there longer than we sort of need to be or need to feel we're there. You know, we have got a long drive back. We were driving back that day. So if we just get to a point and there's still plenty of the day left, but we go, do you know what, we're done. Let's go. Let's not flog a dead horse. You know? And and you were like, oh, I'm done now.
It's like 11:30. Like, yep, I'm good. Like, if we leave now, that's cool. But then, and it also perked me up. I think, you know, I was like, oh, this is good. Maybe it was like, I don't know, maybe I was nervous about the day as well. And I was like, oh no, we're good.
I was a bit apprehensive. I didn't know what to expect.
No.
I'm not a big fan of large crowds.
No. And I felt like there was a lot of riding on it. You know, I felt like if we did it well, we could get a good amount of guests and promote it. But if we didn't, it'd be like, oh.
Yeah, we didn't want to come back going like, oh, that was a waste. We didn't.
No.
The representing part of the just attending representing, we didn't want to waste an opportunity.
No.
If you see what I mean, go into something like that. But also, crippling anxiety can get the better of you in those situations.
But I'd say we were pretty good, because then after that...
You were buzzing. George was buzzing.
I was buzzing, and I can't remember really... I mean, after that, we saw Emily Dolan Davis.
Yeah, who's been on the pod before.
Who actually was the person that was like, you should go to this, you know, go to the UK drum show. I think she sort of started it. Not the drum show, but us planning it. And she was lovely. She was like, oh my God, it's you guys, you made it. You know, it was great. And
and obviously a lot of these people, you know, Mel and Emily, and, you know, we've only met them on Zoom.
Yeah.
So actually it was good to, you know, actually meet them in person.
Yeah. Who else did we meet? Because the way I see the day is we did 3 laps. We did 1 lap where we met people and spoke to them.
And I bought a snare drum.
And you bought a snare, but that was kind of like, that was like top tier. You buying a snare, me talking to Joe Clegg, and then anyone else that we sort of knew was going to be in there. And then the second lap was like, right, let's go to all the stands and promote our stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
So I think having, you know, had a good chat with BDC and bought the snare, you seeing Joe, we'd met Mel and Emily, I think our confidence grew.
Yep.
And there was I think because of that, there was a confidence of, oh, right, this is good. This is good fun.
Yeah.
It's good. It's actually okay to sort of chat to people and put the first foot forward maybe in those situations. And so then, we were like, well, let's go and speak to some of the guys at the stalls, you know, different drum brands and all that sort of stuff. We bumped into Graham himself, Graham Russell.
We did.
And we saw him. I had a little chat with him. So then some points we sort of split up and we'd go and talk to some different stands, see what they're about.
Yeah.
give out some cards, and yeah, I mean, we spoke to the guys from Code.
Yep.
Drumheads. We went up, saw it's ACS.
Yep, ACS, the Hearing People.
Earplugs, Hearing People. Had a chat to them, and I actually, they had set up, this was quite interesting, they had Rammstein's actual drum kit set up as like an exhibition. You couldn't touch it, you know, it's actually set up how it was set up on the tour, on their recent tour. And I was chatting to this older German guy about it, and he was actually Rammstein's drum tech.
Yeah.
And he was just running me through the kit. I've got a picture of it. We'll put it up. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
It's a DW Jazz series.
Which seems weird.
Yeah.
Jazz, yeah.
But there was just some nice, interesting little tidbits. The kick drums look quite small, so I asked if they were 20. He said, no, they're 22. He said, but we used to use 24s because he's got 2 kick drums. We'd had one rack tom in the middle. He's like, but now he uses 2 in the middle. We actually needed to drop the kick drums down a bit, and make them have them a bit smaller. The cymbals are quite low, and he was like, yeah, it's just so he's got line of sight the rest of the band.
Right.
But yeah, he changes the. I asked, he changes the tom heads every, I think it was like 5 to 8 shows.
Right.
The snare every 2 or 3, and the kick drum every 10.
Fair enough.
Around about that.
Yeah.
And he said, it was bless him, he was a lovely older German guy. And I said, oh, how long have you been doing this? And he said, I've been his drum tech since 2005. I got the best job in the world.
Oh, I love that.
I was like, oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
So I put a picture of that. It's really,
Yeah,
cool.
we'll put that on the pod.
Cool
but yeah, I mean, I spoke to a few custom drum companies. That was nice. We spoke to, it was nice because we chat to them, and then I'd pull out a card and then be like, hey, look, we got a podcast if you want to be on it. And they're all sort of interesting, just different, because this is what we've said about guests, you know, we sort of try and get people from, or aim to get people from all walks of the industry. So even when we spoke to the hard case stand, the people that make hard cases, and it seemed like just a family business, you know.
Yeah.
Said to the guy I was talking to, like, oh, would you be up for being on the pod? He'd be like, yeah, it'll be me or me dad, you know. And you're like, oh, okay.
Like, what? I thought this was a massive American company that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, no, it's just
a family business.
Family business from up north.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. And we were like, thanks for your cases. They're brilliant. And then, yeah, but I felt, I mean, who else? I mean, I was, some custom drum companies, but that was like the second lap, I felt, you know. And then it was about 2 p.m. and we were like, right.
Then at the 15 minutes of drum started, and we were like, do you know what? I think we need to go outside. It
started to hurt my ears.
Because then even the quiet period seemed loud.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it was like, whoa,
And you said, and I think you're right, I don't know if it got louder throughout the day, because maybe more people in there, and then you're having to compete, and it just, your ears are tired. So we were like, we're going outside for 15. But then there was like 2:15, and we're like, right, you know, we could have been done there, but you're like, let's hand out some cards. And
I think, by that point we were like, do you know what? Let's say 3 o'clock's the latest.
Yeah.
Let's aim for 3. I think we're still having a good time. There's still maybe some things we want to do. Let's say 3 o'clock. And I was like, look, we got these business cards.
Yeah.
Let's just have a walk around and let's just give them out to people.
Give them to the punters. Yeah, exactly.
Give them to the punters.
You started it first. I was like, I don't know how to. And you were like, you just went up to someone. We got a podcast about drums, you know. And then
I'd go, got a podcast about drums. It's funny.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah. And everyone was like, great, you know.
Yeah. It really is a confidence thing, and it is really something that I don't innately have in me. But I've had to learn through running the studio to have confidence when even like phoning someone or dealing with clients, and you kind of just have to fake it. I think some people have it naturally, but you just have to fake it. The worst case, they go, no, thank you.
Yeah.
And then actually you realise it's not a big deal.
No, it's not.
And most people were like, oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Whether they throw it in the bin or whatever, it doesn't matter.
No.
But while we're here,
this is it.
Let's just give some out. Put some on some tables in the middle as well.
Well, I went up to the food. There was a queue for food, and I was like, perfect. They have nowhere to go. You didn't have to walk past someone. It was like, I don't know, 15 people. I was like, we got a podcast about drums. Just gave one to every. Well, one guy was like, nah. I was like, all right, fuck you. But
fuck you, and he pushed him, and he fell out of his wheelchair.
But
good luck getting a baked potato now, prick.
There was one guy, And I was like, shameless plug. And he went, oh, right back at you. And he had like a QR code for his like Instagram page. And I was like, yeah, of course, you know. But yeah, we just gave him out until 3. And that was, I think at that point, that was almost like a side quest. I felt like we were done, but it was just like, it's just good. And what was nice is, we've said it before, but I feel like a lot of people were men there on their own. And so when you went up to them, even just to talk to them, be like, I got a podcast, they were like, oh, cool. Whoa, that was loud. They were like, oh, cool. You know, how you doing? You all right? And they're like, oh, bless him. He probably wanted me to have a chat with him. Like he's like, it's quite a lonely day when you come on your own to a drum show. But so yeah, I got to talk to a few people. And if you're listening because of that, you got a card. If you've made it 40 minutes of this, part 2, then great.
Yeah.
Stay longer. That was about it. I mean, there's nothing else to say, I don't think, you know?
No, I think so. Yeah, I you know, it's not something I've never been to one before, really. So
no, not me.
So I think it was great to just go and experience it.
Yep.
I don't think it's something I do every year.
No.
You know, it's never really been my sort of thing to go.
No.
You know, I love Marvel and I love that, but I've never been to a Comic-Con.
No.
I love Lego. I've never been to like a Lego show. It's
No.
not what I sort of do, but I think going in there with the slight capacity of representing the podcast was good.
Definitely.
And I think it was a good experience. I bought a BDC snare drum.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got some
cool.
guests for the pod. Yeah, it was great.
And then actually, yeah, just interesting, just seeing what it was like.
Yeah.
Seeing what actually sort of happened. Like we didn't go into it to any master classes or anything like that.
No.
I think maybe if I was to go again, that would be something to do. Oh yeah, but we did bump into Greyson Nekrutman.
Bumped into Greyson Nekrutman, who's very tall in real life.
Yeah, he was a tall lad.
Really tall.
We just said hello.
That's
he
pretty
was
much
in a
it.
bit of a rush.
He was in a bit of a rush.
But that was cool. So that was quite interesting. There's sort of like the dynamic of, I guess, fame within the drum community.
Yeah, definitely.
Was quite interesting. There's definitely drummers and you can't help but if there's someone you've seen via, because there are even some drummers. It's like I've only ever seen them through Instagram.
Yeah.
But you're like, oh, but they're here, and it's weird.
Yeah.
You can't help but not have that feeling of like, oh, not a celebrity, but they are above the parapet of normal drummers.
Yes, definitely.
At something like this.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why their pages are popular, because they're good at teaching, or they're just really good players.
Yeah.
And I'd only, recently watched a couple of the Greyson Drumeo videos. And then I'd seen a lot of his big band ones on Instagram, and then so you can't help but be like, oh fuck, that's
totally.
That's this person who you look to and go, fucking hell, they're incredible at drums.
Of course.
And so we saw quite a few people walking around sort of from Instagram, but it is weird because no one else knows who they are.
No. As soon as
especially the Instagram
street,
ones, because they're not. It's different if you're in Coldplay.
Yeah.
But even then, people don't probably really know.
No.
They're not going to go, oh, that's World Champion, isn't it?
Yeah. I didn't even know his name.
There you go.
You know?
So to elevate, to be a drum, whereas which just, I don't know, I guess it shows you how well known Travis Barker is.
Yeah.
And Dave Grohl, that people just, they know them even though they're not drummers or not in the drum world. So then you get down to this real sort of almost like microcosm of the drum world. And I'm sure it's the same with sci-fi authors who no one would have a fucking clue, but at a book convention someone would be like, oh my fucking hell, it's Neil Gaiman or someone, so it's quite interesting, and you can't help but feel like, oh shit, it's them.
And as you said, they must enjoy it as well, meeting the people, because
otherwise why are they there?
Because Greyson, his show that he was doing wasn't until Sunday at 5, and he was there before us on the Saturday, and he was literally just wandering around,
just walking around,
different stalls. Yeah, like the first time I saw him, he was trying out some electric kit or something, and I just thought, oh, that's really sweet. He's just gone, I'm just going to go and meet everyone. He could have turned up at 4 on Sunday, and just gone in and done his show and gone home. But
there was BDC put a video of him just playing on the toms of one of the BDC kits. Yesterday on the Sunday. Just trying stuff out.
But no, it's good. And Yeah, but I'll say one more thing. Yeah,
because
go on.
Sorry, even when we chatted to Emily,
that's exactly what I was going to say.
Before and after, yeah, there were people who obviously know her for her drumming and through sort of social media and things, and look up to her as a drummer, who wanted to, chat to her.
And I said, "Are you here both days?" And she said, "Yeah, like this is like a reunion." I was like, "Oh, it makes sense for you to be like if she's there and people are constantly coming up to her for two. It's like, yeah, it makes sense that she's there for the full weekend. Even if she don't go to any masters, if she just wanders around, I'm sure she'll have people wanting to chat." But yeah,
maybe one day that'll be us.
Maybe. Nah,
I doubt it.
I want to stay at this level. I want to go, if anything, I want to go backwards. No more networking. Yeah, I think that was it. I mean, we don't need to talk about the car ride back. It was fine.
No, it was actually just a lovely, smooth journey.
It was, yeah.
Which I was very grateful for.
Yeah.
In reality. I'm just sort of seeing if there's... I don't think there's anything else.
What to chat about?
Yeah, just anything we did. I think we've covered it all, really.
I think we have. Yep.
Yeah, it was good.
It was good.
Very interesting. Next week, it's the big 100.
Yeah. Bye.
So yeah, if you have found us because of the drum show, welcome. If you've just been listening for ages, thank you for continuing to listen.
Yeah. On this episode 99.
99 with a flake. Instagram, Twitter, email, all the usual stuff.
Yep.
Like and subscribe, follow, do all that, spread the word, and we'll see you next week for the big 100. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Drum and Drummer. You can find us on Instagram at Drum and Drummer Podcast. And you can send us an email to drumanddrummerpod@gmail.com. Remember, just pick up the sticks and twat it.